After A-levels, I didn't go to university, but did attend the local technical college for further education. I lived at home for free and had various low-paid evening jobs, such as waitress work, bar work, etc., for pocket money. My auntie asked me if I would like to work for her doing general housework, such as cleaning, laundry and generally keeping the house tidy with hours to suit me, so I agreed. She was married to a man who had a successful career in the army and who was an officer, although I don't remember the rank. I didn't see much of him, as he was away a lot, so my auntie was alone much of the time. They were much better off financially than my family, and she was a bit posh really, although I did like her. They lived in a fairly large detached house, so there was plenty to do, as my auntie preferred to spend her time socializing with her rich friends rather than do housework. They had 2 sons who were about 2 years older than me, and both had left home when I started working for her. I did know them quite well, as we played together a lot when we were younger. They had told me stories of how strict their mother was and how she disciplined them. Before they were teenagers, she spanked them over her knee on their bottoms, but once they were older she caned them when they were really naughty. She would cane them while they were bending over the kitchen table just before bedtime over their thin pajamas. They didn't have any bad feelings about it and accepted it as normal, just as I had accepted it was normal for my father to spank me. They said it was always 6 strokes, which really did sting and left cane marks, but they soon recovered and regarded her as a loving mother doing what she thought was best for them. The cane was used at the school they went to, but they told me they were well behaved and were never caned there. I'm quite sure they would have told me if they had been. I was fascinated by school discipline from a very early age, so did prompt them to talk about it as often as possible. One evening, when I was doing some housework at my auntie's house, there was an opened bottle of wine in the kitchen about half full. I couldn't resist having a drink, and didn't think of it as stealing, although, of course, it was. One glass led to another and I finished the bottle. My auntie had told me I could make myself a cup of tea if I wanted to when she was out, but that's all. When my auntie returned, she noticed that the wine bottle was empty and asked me about it. I told her the truth and said I couldn't resist having a glass, and ending up drinking it all. She told me she was very disappointed that I should be tempted to steal from her and told me that she would have to tell my parents, and I would not be able to work for her anymore. I apologized profusely and told her that it would never happen again if she let me carry on working for her. She told me that if either of her sons had done that, she would not have hesitated to cane them. She asked me if I knew that she had been strict with them on occasion, and I confirmed that I knew that sometimes she had caned them. She asked me if I had ever been caned at school, to which I replied that I hadn't, although I didn't tell her that I had fantasized about being caned by the headmistress. Just the mention of the cane had started to arouse all sorts of emotions within me, and when she said that I was not too old to be caned myself, all my fantasies came flooding back. I knew I wanted her to cane me, so I told her that I thought I deserved it, and it would teach me a lesson if she wanted to do it. I stressed that I would want it to remain private, because I didn't want my parents to know that she had caned me. She didn't need much time to think about it and agreed to cane me just as she had caned my cousins. I don't know what my parents would have thought, but would probably have had no objections. She took me into the kitchen and told me to wait there while she fetched the cane. I don't know where she got it, as she had never been a school teacher before she was married.